Hello, Ulises. Could you please give an introduction about yourself?
Yes, of course. Thank you, friend. Well, my name is Ulises Basilio. I'm a medical doctor trained in Mexico. And after that, I did a specialty in radiology, diagnostic imaging.
Mhm.
And since I finished my career, I had an accident that left me in a wheelchair when I was 20 years old. I couldn't walk for a year, therapy, and I decided to start a business of teleradiology, telemedicine. Even before the COVID, it was like, it's all the buzzword here right now, remote work. But 16 years ago, nobody knew what is to work from work. I actually worked from work for the last 17 years. Everybody thought I was crazy in the beginning. Nobody thought that you could pay a doctor staying at home and seeing patients from home. It was crazy. But again, pain, as state has shown us, adversity is what makes humans thrive, right? So I had a little kid, 2 year old. My wife was pregnant, and I had this terrible accident that broke my spine, and I couldn't walk for 1 year. And during that time, the first month I was in the wheelchair, I began to program. I made my own software, and I do software for hospitals. But my main income is telemedicine, seeing patients. Right now, my company services 400 hospitals around Mexico and some places in Central and South America. And I see around 55,000 patients per month, making around right now $50,000. I enrolled in the real world 6 months ago. It was a total game changer in many ways, especially in my health. I also have lost 88 pounds since I started the real world program. And being inside the real world and having the philosophy, all the mindsets, the discipline to be locking in every day, led me a life changing decision to me, because after 17 years, I was a little bit bored, I would say. Success, also, as Andrew Ted says, again, with this incredible wisdom, is sometimes not a blessing but a curse. Sometimes you're not ready, or many times you're not ready for the money. And we can see so many examples of people that got very successful monetarily, but their lives just become a complete shipwreck. Like all the money, like you spend the money, you begin to have bad habits, and finally you end worse before the money. So the first thing that happened when I signed to the real world is like a new fresh air, a new life. Because I was thinking, well, I'm 44 years old, right? I'm very successful compared with other people in my area in Mexico. The average radiologist here makes very few money compared to the United States or Europe. We make around $5,000 per month. So getting to 30,000 per month, full business without my intervention. I was had a lot of time, free time. For me, it was like depressing. It's funny because with all the money and all the free time and my kids, you think that you will feel extremely, extremely happy, but the opposite happened. Does that make sense? I
It
felt
does.
like depressed, like with a purpose, like I didn't have any challenge. And I tried a couple of new business, didn't came out very well. I was not that very well focused into them. But then I found Andrew Tate in Twitter and YouTube with the cancellation Romania. Very inspiring his history, and very inspiring what he said. Right, many of the things that he said about being rich, not being fit, or whatever, some pearl of wisdom he said, really resonated with me. I began to do a little bit more every day, like do stuff by myself. I walk with a cane, and I walk with a wheelchair sometimes. I stopped using it. I began to walk by myself, and then the real call work came in. I registered, didn't take it very seriously, leave it alone, and then again, something happened, a new tweet from him. I said, oh, come on, I have to put effort into this, right? I have to really lock in, get into the lessons, say good morning every day. And something changed dramatically for the last 6 months after into the real world.
Amazing. What a introduction there. So the first thing I was thinking was, as a medical doctor, what made you actually decide to take the step to join the real world?
As I told you, maybe because I felt like a little bit lost. Also, my kids are a very important. A motivation for me. My kids just hit 13 and 16 years old. I have a girl that's 16 years old and a boy 13. And I try also to motivate them and to try to find some ways to get them into the business, understand business, marketing, sales, and build their own business. I don't want them to do what I do. I want them to do something different. Also, that makes sense for me because of Tate. Like, hey, you don't have to inherit any money to your kids. They have to build their own way up. And I was again one of those days that I have some substance abuse problem with alcohol. I used to abuse it a little bit. I used to be lazy, and then I just began to go getting early, 5 a.m. Get to the gym, began to lose some pounds, and finally I decided to log in and begin to take the courses. And first course is look, self improvement. Good morning, upload a video, and the hero's journey every day a video and win $500 prize. I don't know if it's still on or not, but then I said, wow, this is very very good. I, the first thing I started to do, I stopped wasting. I spent a lot of time in social media. Like, it was an enormous waste of time in Facebook because of the political climate, right? Like, everybody gets really really locked in the political debate about left, right, trans, not trans. And I spent hours a day in social media, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, answering with people, fighting with people. All that energy began to get into the real world because there's something very interesting about the real world. I began to notice, and these people are not joking around. They're really into checking who's doing the real world, who's faking, who's trying to do some hacks, take shortcuts. I have been spanked in the hand a couple of times. Hey, don't do that. Deleted messages, and that really, really, I really love it. That because I said, "Wow, this is a real challenge." I started being 180,000 in the rankings, and then a couple days later, I got into 87, and now in 17,000. So for me, it became like a video game in real life. Actually, it's brilliant. I think this is in some levels very brilliant in many ways because this is really about the real world. Like, some of the videos that you get in the headquarters, the first videos talks about the legends, right? The people that just got lucky with Bitcoin. I also got lucky with Bitcoin, a lot of money, not earned by the hard way, just because I heard about it, bought some money, boom. And also that hurted me because more money, more problems, right? Because I lacked of discipline. Then I began to get into the courses, and after I began to do my work, it's magical. My business began to thrive because I showed up. I looked for new clients. I booked new clients. It was like a second life, in a video game. Like, I got my second life. I really fuck out. Sorry for the bad word, but I really wasted many years of my talent, of my potential, doing nothing. And then I began like, hey, this is a real challenge. Let's do it. And then I began to do use the business mastery with Professor Arnedo, I think his name,
Oh, yep.
and it's really challenging. I'm beginning to make something totally different, a marketing agency that's totally new. It's going to be a total challenge because definitely we men and humans need a challenge to look forward.
Yep, yep. Were there other campuses you utilized, or has it been mainly the Business Mastery campus for your um, business as well?
Well, the business mastery campus is a very honest course. I think all the courses in the real world are like that. Professor Nair say, okay, this is going to be different. We're going to build a business from scratch. So I use, for example, as a businessman, everything I will just delegate. That's what businessman do very very well in the beginning. Like, I have the marketing guy, the sales guy, I have the designer guy, all the stuff, right? Google Ads, etc. So one of the things that I liked about the course is you have to take action, right? Get your logo, do it by yourself, take the name, pick the domain, build the website. I'm beginning to do all that stuff. It didn't directly impacted my business, but as I began to recall what may be big in the past, because I got some big prizes in some covers like Forbes or CNN, I began to just go back to the basics, right? Like Steve just said, stay hungry, stay foolish, right? I didn't understand that phrase very well until again, I'm hungry again, I'm foolish, I'm a newbie, I'm a rookie. And as I can see all the other teenagers, young guys, uh, getting up in the ranks, getting money, I get jealous. I get like, oh, this is a competition. Let's go. Let's get into compete with ourselves. Actually, the most important competition is with yourself. Every day, waking up, doing the job, not spending time rotting your brain in the social media. That's basically it. Just a different mindset and a network of people. Actually, something very beautiful about the real world. You can see all these guys, 11, 10,000 students that are just like pushing very hard, everyone in their own lives to move forward, and very respectfully try to give them some feedback. So all the whole culture inside the real world pushes you forward.
Mhm. And did you utilize the Business Master Campus for the business you've been building for 16 years, or has it been for the new business completely?
Both. Actually, I am really new a lot about marketing, a lot about web design and SEO. That things already were very known up for me. You know, I knew a lot of that stuff. But I think that the most important thing that I began to learn with Professor Arnero is it doesn't matter the technicalities. Just go back to the copy, go back to the problem you want to solve, go back to the solution. And it's something that sounds a little bit too basic, but we tend to forget where we came from. As you advance in life, that's something that happens to everybody. You get comfortable, even with the hard things that were hard before then are easy, and then you forget about what you had to do. And looking again at what are the pains of my clients, that usually they're hospitals that need a telemedicine service and a software as a service for managing patient records, I began to remember that I didn't update what my clients' problems are, and there are always new problems that we have to solve, right? In the beginning, when the cloud started, it was like, hey, the HIPAA compliance, all the cybersecurity and all the privacy of the patients, what patients what's like the most important thing. Now everybody just don't care about that, and now we talk about speed. AI, for example, it was a game changer. AI to use for reading faster or giving best result to the client, to the patients. All the things came together, and I have a second coming or third maybe of my company. It has been in trouble before, and definitely the course just tell you the basic things that are common in all business. Either you are walking dogs, that's the business of my little girl. Even if you're car washing, that's the business of my kid. Even to me, the same principles apply. Like he mentioned a lot, Michael Gerber, image. And also, I read that book when I was younger, and I say, wow, it's true. You have to go back to the basics, and then recall that business is about social skills and being able to move others.
You mentioned, did I understand correctly, you implemented AI automation into your business?
Definitely, I got into automation. Yes.
Yeah, so in what way did you implement AI automation into your business?
Oh, in so many ways. Well, again, I haven't taken the campus of AI automation because I don't have all that much time. I have to work. But once ChatGPT came out, I began to look into it. We got into the API. I was already like a little bit motivated by data, a little bit motivated by doing something else with my life. And right now, it saves around 90% of the reading of the story with the patients. Like, for example, you put the AI, I build a whole model of AI based on GPT, and now it's pre-informed the AI of an X-ray or a CT scan or an ultrasound. It creates a report, and as a doctor, I have 150 doctors working for me around all these patients. I cannot see all them. I mainly my doctors that work for me, and it says 90% of the time, lowering the cost around 70%. It's exactly as Tate said. I actually fired like two-thirds of my doctors because of this, because it was much more efficient, and they could win more paying them less. And some were happy, but some were unhappy because, well, automation and AI is taking the jobs of everybody. And that's the reality of the world we live. We have not to complain, but to take advantage of the new wave or the new opportunities that the world offers to us.
Interesting. Okay. So, yeah, I'm surprised you can use ChatGPT now for the medical field, and it works so well for you, so accurate. So yeah, in a way it's cool, but also in a way it's sad because people are losing their livelihoods. But that's progress. That's how it goes.
That's how it goes. That's the way things improve with some pain. And another thing is, I had a very good advantage. Thousands of patients, thousands of images that I used to train ChatGPT, and it really improved really fast with our database. And I could see that opportunities is for the one that's prepared. I was collecting clients for 16 years, patients and patients. I started with one patient, now 50,000 patients per month, and now you get ChatGPT, my skills to do some coding, and my team that does coding. You put together that, and then ChatGPT very fast, sorry, very quickly began to understand how to do the reads. I had to train it like you train a doctor, a student, a medical student. Like you didn't see the fracture, it's here. You didn't see the kidney stone, it's here. And boom, now you have an extremely amazing, almost magical tool that can pre-diagnose or diagnose 90% of the diseases just with ChatGPT. That is not intended for that, but definitely as it's a very business driving application more than Grok. You can use the API, insert the database, and learn every month with this big database of patients. And always unexpected what's going to happen, also, and you have to be prepared for everything. Everything can happen. Your
And
job
yeah,
can
it
be taken.
reduces human error because robots usually, if trained well, don't make mistakes.
Actually, it's also very interesting because we used to have a 7% error. That's the average
Wow.
around all doctors everywhere
Wow.
in the world. People think that medicine is infallible. No, doctors made a lot. We make a lot of mistakes because we are human, and we have lowered our mistake rate to 0.1% in just in 1 year. Yes, 6 months, 1 year is what happened. So that's another reason. As again, that's another reason why maybe my business flourished. Sometimes you cannot see, in perspective or retrospective, not easy. But then you see, okay, we're getting better diagnosis, less complaints for the clients, less misdiagnosis. Maybe we're getting a better referral from other clients, like we're a very good service.
Yep, yep, yep. Okay, so in that way, very cool. And since you're on this trajectory, what plans do you have, and where do you see your life heading in the short term, medium term, and long term?
Okay, definitely, I think full automation is in the way of medical diagnosis. And even now, maybe in treatment, diagnosis is a little bit easier. You have to just diagnosis is very important because with the diagnosis you do the treatment, right? If you don't know if you have a, let's say, a tumor in the lung, then you will not treat it on time, and then you will die, the patient will die. So diagnosis is the first step, and I think that we're going to get to a full automated, better human, like, yeah, we call this singularity in radiology. They somebody put the term radiomic, when the AI is better than the human, and we're getting there. Less mistakes, faster, cheaper. And I think that we have to go with the trend. We cannot stop and cry that all these jobs are lost. Something still, you need the signature from the radiologist. Still, you have to look at it because there are legal issues. You cannot sue a machine. You have to be responsible as a doctor with your own professional number and your signature of what is said. So still, a human has to check all the reports. What is so fast right now? Like before, you had to open the image, type a report, and finish it. Now the image is already with the diagnosis. It points out where are the fractures, the tumors, the anomaly. You see the report, make minimal changes like that. Took 5 seconds instead of 5 minutes. And I think full automation in telemedicine is coming. There are several complexities in different studies, like X-rays, very easy, almost 90% automated. Then you got CT scans, a little bit more complex, more images, more difficult to diagnose. Let's say we are 60% of automation, but you got MRI, PET-CT, several other studies that are more complex, nuclear medicine. So I think that my goal is to automate all of those modalities, all of those subspecialties, and maybe then move to therapeutic. I don't know. That's some dream I have. Like I have begun to see some robots that do, surgeries, and maybe I will go to the therapeutic part that's more difficult. It's more challenging, more risk. More risk because you can really get into trouble if a patient doesn't is treated well in a surgery. Even the smallest procedure can go wrong. So I think with the money and expertise we're getting, I will get into treatments in medicine also.
Okay. Very interesting. So I didn't even have to ask many questions because you just answered most of them yourself. So
Okay.
since I guess just to clarify, at the very start, I believe you mentioned currently earning 55,000 a month, and then later you said before you joined you were earning 30,000 a month. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Earnings. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, you're saying how much of that would you contribute to the real world? That increase.
Definitely, almost the totality of that increase in revenue.
Mm.
Um, I think that I was sitting in 30,000 for almost 5 years. Didn't grow in 5 years. That's so definitely. I would say that the real world totally. I have to give credit to the 20,000 extra I got.
Amazing. Okay, and in Mexico, that's a big deal.
Yeah, Mexico is is being a millionaire here.
Yeah, pretty
It's
much.
very cheap here. Ah, well, you have been in Mexico, so
Yeah, for sure.
it's very cheap here.
Yep.
So, and also there's important thing in Mexico because all these barriers, the landscape is very far away. Rural areas are so inaccessible. It's a big difference with USA and Europe. So telemedicine, that's something I had this idealistic view when I was younger. Hey, I want to do this for the rural area, for the rural hospital. And again, technology helps much more the people that are the underdog. That's something that people overlook. Usually when a new disruptive technology comes, like telemedicine, it disrupts the elite, the higher end people, sometimes, many times. And then the people that are more benefited are the ones in the lower income or the
Mhm.
more remote areas.
Yeah. So amazing that you're doing that. And since you found a lot of value from the real world, what advice do you have to people who are unsure about joining because they think they might get scammed for $50?
Oh my God, so many things to say about the real world, life changing courses. I would say that the the harsh way of how the Tates maybe take out the message. It's on purpose, of course, because it's mainly for young men that need some military style and some strong commitment and some strong like pushing them may sound a little bit off to many people, but definitely it's a life changing decision, not only for me. I have seen so many stories, so many people, women, girls, young boys, older people like me, to work around in so many campuses. Like the health and fitness also inside that campus. So many amazing tips that I never heard about. And I'm a doctor, I'm a doctor. And that really work. I would say that I'm a very Christian Catholic driven. There's something the Bible says that you should judge a tree by the fruits. And for me, that's very interesting because sometimes people speak, right? People tend to speak a lot, and really sometimes they blatantly lie or they don't believe what they say. So another person that I really admire was Jordan Peterson has said, don't put attention of what people say, put attention on what they do. But even more important, what are the result of their actions? So for me, it's very interesting to see. Maybe you're not very like fond or agree with how it's delivered the message, but what has been the result of the message of the real world and the dates, and it's only positivity to the guy people that try it, and then once they try it a month, really engage into it, really connect, really follow the instructions, the leads that they put you or what you have to do. If you do that, your life will change, definitely. For
Amazing.
the-
Yeah, very well said. All right, and now for people who want to find out more about you or contact you, where could they do so?
Well, I'm everywhere in all the social media with the same name. My first name is Ulises, my last name Basilio. U Basilio in Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. And my company name is Grupo PTM, Grupo as in group, but in Spanish, PTM as in pets, and Tate and mother.com.
So we'll add that to description of the video. And yeah, Oasis, thank you for coming on and sharing your story. Been really cool to listen to it. As I said, I didn't even have to ask many questions because you answered everything just for everything you were saying. So
Thank you.
amazing to hear that. As you said, you were building a business for 16 years, and for 5 years you were stuck at 30,000 a month, which is already significant. But then you were able to even go even further to 55,000 a month now after applying the lessons from the real world, and also, as you said, lost 88 pounds. So your health is improving a lot, which is a very big factor. So the insights into AI automation have been things I didn't know were already beginning to be a thing. So thank you for coming on and sharing your story, and I wish you all the best for future.
Thank you, my friend. I wish you the best too.